What is up, the Figure Hunter? Today we're going to talk about the heart rate accuracy for the Polar Ignite 3 leading up to my full review of the Polar Ignite 3 in the next couple of days. So if you like this review, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing for more, especially if you want to see the full review. I actually am having better results with the battery life, so that is good. And obviously heart rate accuracy is a significant thing because of all the testing that I do is for CrossFit or high intensity interval training versus running, biking, and swimming videos that are out there that are a little bit more steady state or at least less intrusive on an optical heart rate sensor, because you have barbells, you're walking on your hands, you're having to move the watch up your arm to put on wrist straps or hand wraps, wrist sleeves, all sorts of different equipment. So we're going to put this through the ringer. I took it through 8 different workouts, with each included a heavy lifting portion for the lifting cycle that I'm on, as well as a heavy Metcon or the real cardiovascular work towards the backside. And we're going to see how it proved analytically, sort of statistically with full tilt accuracy. And the reason that is important is because if you start to trail off in the accuracy of the heart rate sensor and can't keep up with the peaks of the workout, it's going to correlate to a lower training load, which is going to make it seem like you're not working as hard this week as you have the past average weeks. But as I say in all these videos, if you're doing CrossFit or high intensity interval training, you really should just wear a heart rate monitor that is connected to whatever watch you choose, because especially in CrossFit, you are wearing wrist wraps or wrist sleeves or hand wraps. You're moving around, you are walking your hands, you're doing all these different things. Your wrist is going through so much flex that it's probably better just to not wear a watch at all, so you don't think about it, you don't have to worry about it. You could just connect the watch, put it off to the side, start the workout on the watch. The heart rate sensor is sending it to the watch at all times. But if you want to know the accuracy, we're going to look at it now. We're going to look at the 8 charts, and then we're going to talk about it in summary, what the analytical results were and what I think about it. So let's dive into the charts. All right, so this is the first workout. You can see it pretty much tracked the whole thing pretty excellently, just from the whole lifting section in the beginning and the Metcon at the end, and even the after work that followed. This one actually had some variance across like the middle of the Metcon, but overall was excellent, both on the lifting portion. Some of that was just, basically like an overlay of one over the other. Then you have workouts like this. Now, I did have like an irregular heartbeat in the middle of the workout that I don't think any optical heart rate sensor would have picked up on. But overall, it was tracking a little bit low, just sort of about 10 beats off at one point. But relatively tracked, most things pretty good. Here was a little bit more of a shaky movement. There was obviously a lot of work being done across a longer period of time. But it just, had some major dips in the front end. And I mean, the average is going to be close to the right average, or some of the peaks are going to be similar to the same peaks. But this would actually have produced a lower result when it came to the cardio load. This workout, I feel like, was excellent. Obviously, there's some variation across the mean with each of the little points, but overall, it's going to pick up the bulk of the core heart rate, especially in the peaks and the high intensity points, because I was getting up closer to 180 beats a minute, which is my max heart rate, and it was still keeping up with the main average. Here, excellent in the Metcon, just, spot on, really high heart rate, but on the lifting portion, it just couldn't pick up fast enough with each of the liftings. So this was a 3-position clean, so my heart rate went straight up, and it just didn't catch up. It didn't go straight up with it. This one was heavy back squats, and for some reason, when there's heavy back squats, I have had multiple sensors just have a hard time with it. I don't know if it's just because I'm holding my breath, I'm tightening my torso, and it's just creating a high blood pressure of some type, because it didn't pick it up, but then it did really excellently in the second half for the Metcon. So you can see that there's a number of times where it does perfectly and other times where it doesn't do quite as perfectly, and then this would be the most imperfect of all the workouts, where it just I don't know what was going on. I can't remember the day, but my heart rate was high pretty much throughout the whole sort of elongated Metcon, and it just sort of jumbled around, but often was too low. So jumbling around is not bad, because it's going to sort of basically track a relative similar cardio load or training load from the workout, which is what's going to flow into your stats and being able to have awareness of how hard you're training now versus how hard your average of training has been. But this would be a situation where it's going to bring my cardio load score a little bit lower by anywhere from 5 to 10% from what it would be, because it's just not picking up the peaks. So that's the summary of the 8 workouts. Let's talk about the numerical result. All right, so when you look at all those charts, there are some, of the 8, there were a couple that had more big struggles. There was a couple of the lifting portions that had larger struggles, but in general, analytically or statistically, it was about 89 to 90% accurate. So right in the mid-range, 89.6% accurate. And in today's world, that is actually a high level of accuracy, although it's not the perfect level of accuracy. So in some of those workouts, it was like 96 to 97. In some of the workouts, it was mid to low 80s. So if you think of it just like 90% accuracy, this will get the job done, because we definitely want an 85% accuracy or above to get the core backbone of the job done. But you obviously also would want to consider a chest strap. So this falls in line like 3rd or 4th place. I think it's like Apple Watch, Huawei, the latest sensor from the Huawei generation of watches, Garmin Elevate 4.0, and then this sensor. And then below that, way below that is Chorus, way below that is some of the other Polar sensors, and some of the other watches that are out there. So that is it. That is the summary. Stay tuned for the final review. The Polar Ignite 3 heart rate accuracy video. This is what this is. Figure Hunter, thanks so much for watching.